good morning. Happy Saturday. Today's date marks December 14th, 2024. Look at all those fours at today's date. Yesterday, Friday the 13th. Oh boy, I don't know about you guys, it's Friday the 13th, but mine was quite an adventure. No matter what day of the year it is, I do, for the most part, try to count all of my blessings and just be grateful to see another day. But y'all know all the weird theories and omens behind Friday the 13th. Now, I do feel like I'm gonna put this out here. Somebody wanted me to feel haunted yesterday because I don't know what people be out here doing on Friday the 13th. I just know it's associated with scary stuff. But this is being recorded for the record. I'm in good being health standing right now. How else would I be able to record this live? But I plan to get better, stronger. It's like who stays the same? I have another question about that again today, y'all. Who stays the same their whole life? Here you will make it TV. You will often hear us talk about change and transition and growth. Words that scare people that are not ready to do it. Words that only bother people who are not ready to do it. I'm still trying to figure out how we have a billion people on Earth, but we use one man or one woman's story to try to justify all. No, only that one man or one woman can use that story because that's their story. We live in a day today where people want the accolades that come with a person, the physical, tangible things that come with a person, but they don't want the story you came with. STORY. Because if they had that, if they had to go through that, let me tell y'all something. A lot of people wouldn't even be who we think they are without your story. We'll come back to that point I was trying to make in 1 second. I just feel like this is not a new topic, but it's never a bad time to re-bring this topic out. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Like, share, and subscribe. You're encouraged to show your support. I'm Arthur, audio host, architect, and we love your support. I just felt like I'm gonna bring this out, and most people know I'm not racist at all. I've never really been. I don't care how far back they go in my past and who they talk to. Actually, most of the schools I even went to, I was one of the few black kids. That's how I know what I'm talking about. And we were like brothers and sisters, me and the students. We were kids. That's how I know hate is taught. Hate is not does not just seep out of the ground out of nowhere. How many of y'all agree with me that people want us to believe that about hate? Like, oh, that person just hates you all of a sudden. No, this is my perception on hate. It's still a learned behavior. It's still a taught behavior, and I don't care what race or color or age or ethnicity you are. Most times, the act of hate in itself, or hate, because you can hate somebody, that's just an emotion. But to act off the hate, now we're talking hate crimes. See, we only want to bring up the hate crimes when it's a different race. But black on black crime is still very real. And as long as it is, I just feel like I'm gonna stand alone out here. Cause outside of black on black crime, you gotta fight other crime. It's stupid. And I'm not even a cop. I'm not a cop. Most people are not cops. The only people that are cops are cops. But you living in a dangerous time where I'm trying to stay on topic here. I just feel like people are not only full of hate, they're full. We can see it because they're operating out of it. Like I said, it's one thing to have that particular emotion, in my opinion, but to act out of that emotion every day towards somebody or something, okay, that would probably be understood. You hate that person, but we're getting back to hate being a learned behavior. Period. Where do most of us learn our learned behaviors in life? As children, but some people still pick up on habits as adults. That's what social influence is about. Peer pressure, uh social conditioning. I don't know what y'all want to call it, but I refuse to believe that there are not adults who still pick up on learned behaviors. Like my behaviors in life, for example, are expected. They're behaviors I've been known. They don't make them right all the time, but that's what I'm saying. People, if I did something different from the norm, which I've been known to do too, uh, then they would know like, okay, she's doing something different. But a person that's doing something they've been known to always do, how can you? I just had a question. How can you say they're operating out of it? I don't know. But that was my rhetorical question. Like, whose bright idea was this? Because I see nothing but more division because of the bright idea. Which is rhetorically speaking, if a bright idea is truly bright, nobody's getting hurt, nobody's feeling uncomfortable, nobody's being divided. So how is it a bright idea to quote unquote weaponize the black family, separate the black family, divide the black family? I just feel like when people started touching uncharted territories like that, but we're wondering why. Just to let y'all know that was in the news yesterday, right? This has nothing to do with families for a second, but yep, a kid, guys. Most of the school shootings we hear about, it's a whole adult. It's a whole adult that does it, or a young person that's a young adult. But no, this story from yesterday that circulated, a kid did the school shooting this time, and six were injured. I think seven. I know the numbers were six and seven, and they might have been switched, but some were injured and some lost their life. And a kid did this shooting. Okay, so let's say that we say, well, no, Miss Whitney doesn't know what she's talking about. The kids are festering more hearted, hate in their heart, and there's nothing. Nobody's trying to weaponize the black family against each other. It's crazy. It's too many of them without a father, and it's simple to me. That's why I'm finna break it down, give my comment, and leave it alone. All I can do is give my opinion. Why do we think? Because like I don't know what people thought, but every black father is not just not present because he's in prison. Most of people daddies be out here alive and well, to tell y'all the truth. Since a little girl, I might not have knew why, but I have always studied and paid attention to it. Now that's understandable if dad is in the army, dad's a pilot, dad does jobs where he's barely home. Cause some of y'all families it is that way. And shout out to you today. Cause those dads don't fall in this category. Those dads are barely home because of the type of work they do. So to me, that's different. I don't know about y'all. I'm talking about the ones uh they be alive and well, y'all. Healthy, making sound. I wouldn't say that's a sound decision, neglecting your responsibilities, but for the most part, these guys don't always be in jail or what y'all think just because a black kid's dad's around it, he must be in jail, right? No, a lot of these guys don't be in jail. They be alive and well. They just somewhere with another woman. I'm just recognized and redirecting everybody's attention to the truth. Period. And it's not new. It's been a problem. It's been a problem. Broken families, not in the household, daughters being raised without fathers, sons being raised without fathers. This has been an issue. But what I think you know what I'm saying? So you create these issues in people's lives. Let's not say black people right now, but you create these issues in people's lives and then blame it on them. We should know it's 2024. Y'all, if we're going into 2025 and people still want you to be sleep, dead, play crazy for them. which is a form of sacrifice, by the way. They want you to downplay your own intelligence. What I know to be true about the Black family. Before I had a Black family of my own, I knew this to be true. I knew I was headed for a challenge when every one of mine came out as a girl. To be honest with people, I knew things weren't going to be easy. You had all daughters. Number one, I knew I was going to look, uh, and it's sad to say, I know what race I am too. I knew I was going to look very vulnerable to people. And I'm sorry for you other girl moms out there. Maybe that's not how you took it, but that's how I do. And you do for sure. Once the family's been divided, once the family's been weaponized against you, uh, why would you feel? Why would you feel? See, the opposite of weaponize is what? Safety. If you're not weaponizing something against something, then you're protecting something. That's the opposite of weaponizing something. You would be teaching that same something to protect and serve rather than divide and conquer. Why would you want to teach a family to do that to their own self? I wouldn't have the answers, but I would say it's too many families falling victim to it because a part of it is probably falling victim. The rest is just we're not paying attention. I already did a short about that. Yes, oftentimes with the Black families, they gotta catch you off guard. Because if they catch you on point, if they catch a hard-working Black family on point, how the fuck can you catch them? You can't catch them. There's nothing to catch but the facts, but the love in that family. So people put on that facade like, oh, we like to see happy families together. That is the sad reality is that's not true. And I feel like the further we get into the future, we might want to go ahead and expect more. Even the Bible tells us about it. But people still want to, like, you know what I'm saying? Weaponize, I guess, since I'm using that word, make it like we are confused about why something is going on in one particular household when these same generational curses have affected the Black families in America at least 5 generations now, for sure. It's crazy, like they keep bringing up these instances and circumstances, but it's like if we not working as a whole to break the I don't know about other Black people. I know I am. I know exactly what the generational curses are in my family. Hit that like button if you can say the same thing about yours. Not every family has a generational curse. What does a generational curse look like? Grandpa drank alcohol. Mom drank alcohol. Great grandpa drank alcohol. Not only do they drink alcohol, they turn very violent when they drink alcohol. That might actually be a curse in some families. I don't agree with it, but I respect the knowledge. I do. I think more people should. But just to say that that's not a possibility, that's not non-exist. It's too late to say that. Even therapists and psychologists will tell you cycles are real. If you don't want to call it generational curse, you call it a cycle. And until you speak up sometimes and let people know, hey, if you're not helping me to break this cycle in my life, I could care less about what you're doing today. My actions do speak louder than my words. I really don't talk to many people. It's like if it's not about breaking toxic cycles, now people can claim that they want to help you. I don't know. You can ask for help too doing something like that, ladies and gentlemen. But what I'm saying is you don't have to just sit back and be a victim to your own personal family being weaponized. You know how many people agree that their families are working against them right now? I don't know who they thought I was, but there's over a billion people on this planet. Now, I can't give an exact rough estimate amount number, but there's a great amount of people right now who definitely feel like their families have been weaponized against them. I just had to say that for anybody that feels it, I don't know, people have to get in contact and what's that word? And back in touch with reality, back in touch with the truth. back in touch. That's what I respect. When it's not the truth, when it's sneaky, when it's sideline, I don't respect it. Just like most people probably don't. It's crazy to continue to overlook generational curses to me. Because let me tell y'all something about generational curses. I think number one, we know this until somebody break it. A lot of people don't even know curses can be broken, but most times it's called a curse because there's a way to break it. Just like there's a way to unbless yourself. Like a person that's blessed can literally do things to sabotage their own blessings. That's how it is with a curse. There are things you can do to actually break that curse. Period. It's like a lot of people want you to sit around and be cursed for them. I'm not about to do it. I rather go out being remembered as a person who tried to fight that curse each and every day of their last days of their life. That was my way of showing this black woman doesn't have to settle for a curse. I don't care what the lineage or the background was. Now I care when it comes to the knowledge because how else would I learn to break a curse? Spiritual session really quick. Because we're all religious nuts until you can prove that you broke a curse in your life. You can prove you broke it before, for sure. That's like that's like moving past the curse of addiction, but somehow addiction found you again. Why would you sit there and beat up a person like that who actually has knowledge on how to break that curse again? Obviously they're re-addicted to whatever because something truly is bothering them. But in the black families, do we get asked what's bothering you? Let's normalize that. What's bothering you? Because weaponizing the black family against each other is such an old tactic. As I feel like it happened to mine, I watched it happen. I remember my childhood. I remember having my own children. I remember how they every different cycle, every different season of their life. And I can say when they were like babies, my kids, for example, I just probably had never thought this far about parenting. I never thought this far. Like, hey, one day they're going to be older girls. Woo, woo, woo. But I had already thought about the fact that generational curses were real. I got so much evidence. I don't know how deep I'm gonna go into it today. Probably not too deep, but I do have evidence that generational curses are prevalent. They're real. I have witnesses that can speak on this. To my understanding, I do. Because I might have family members that don't mess with me, but I know I have some that do. They can mess with me just for the truth. And the truth is generational cycles are real. You don't even have to be best friends with somebody to confirm something is the truth. You don't have to be. That's the thing that I don't understand actually when it comes to black culture and division. Because you don't even have to like somebody to confirm the truth. No, it's not liking somebody to begin with that allows you to deny the truth. We know this. I'm just re-pointing out things for people. That's what I've been known to do. Give that perception nobody could think of giving. It really be the same thing that's been said for 20 years. But I give it in a way where people can understand in regular, not with such the huge big terminology. It's simple. A generational cycle is just like a generational curse. I want to say something. I want to say something I never got to say for the record because the communities I come from in my past probably are shocked that I have no words for the things that I have witnessed the past 3 years. I have no words because I'm known to speak on things, and not just for myself, for the communities around me, for the whole communities around me, which is the world. That's how I just always been, right? If I'm involved in something at the school, is something that it's probably a group that actually helps the school. Y'all better go back and check my record. I've always been like this, just a very family oriented. It's as if somebody knew it and wanted to test me, wanted to make me the example. Because I've always been family oriented. I'm not gonna let nobody take their truth from me. That's why me and my kids are still together right now. You know how many mothers walk away? They walk away. They don't threaten to. They don't just sit around and think about it. They're literally doing it as we speak. Fathers too. The father's been doing it, so it's just not a regular conversation. But oh boy, let a mother say she's gonna walk away. I'm talking about the over general issue, I think it is. The stigmas aren't a problem till they are. But people saying, no, racism is dead. Nobody's trying to divide. If you're not careful, you get so caught up in the politics and the bells and whistles that you miss the fact that yes, children are committing school shooting acts today. Adults are hurting children. This is not new news. And people still want you to walk around and pretend unaware. It's just crazy to me. When you weaponize something that's already powerful, as it's unified, it's already powerful. Like it didn't need no help. But then you weaponize it. We kind of talked about that before. There seems to be like I don't know, another weaponizing tactic. It's like when a person do speak up on these generational issues, now you got to be mental health because you, like me, I'm a actually exude that through action, even if it's peace, even if it's just silence. It speaks volumes to some people. No, everybody is not okay with letting generational curses continue to fluster in their life. To me, at that point, all the generational curse can do is try to tempt you. I don't know, really test you and see if there's something you really don't want in your life. Because once you make that decision, that's it. How else do you break the curse? So back to that, when I was saying it, like I see that there's like a trend. I'm gonna tell y'all that in a new era. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's suddenly. I don't mean to be funny, but everybody's suddenly spiritual. Everybody knows. Man, I'm gonna tell y'all, I've been seeing people that ain't talked about spirituality on the regular, but they see another person trying to change their life in a spiritual way. Look how they come in. That's what I'm trying to show. The weapons. Anything somebody start and you didn't know nothing about it, but suddenly 2 or 3 weeks later it's being weaponized against them. How are you not catching on to that pattern? And they black. They start a bracelet business, it got to be something bad behind it. They start a jewelry business, it got to be something, And I say this because the facts show it. You know what I'm saying? Certain other races, they got whole liquor stores on the corner. Foreigners own these stores, but we see them in the impoverished communities, in the low income communities. That's where you're gonna see the most liquor stores. Not saying nothing we don't know, just reminding people ain't really much change. Those same liquor stores are still on the corners in every community. But you want to come down on the families that you've divided about the liquor, about how they act when they own it. I'm not saying ban alcohol. I don't know. Some people been thinking that should have been done, because it's the time of freedom though. I'm all over the place with this topic, but like I said, I never seen so many people. It is good to see people trying to get their knowledge up and awaken and know more about their surroundings, their environment, the energies that surround them. People will probably think I'm crazy if I tell them my faith is at a level where I wouldn't care what you see from the outside surrounding me. I know what surrounds me first, and that's God Almighty. You can say, well, I saw this around her, and I saw this, and I saw a ghost, and I saw this. Anything that's around me, all I know, it had to get permission from God. If it's around me, you see it, God is very intentional. Open your eyes and look closer then. Because sometimes at the end of the day, it ain't nothing but a generational curse. And my calling, my purpose right now is to call it out first in my own life. If you literally see, for example, a child doing the same thing you used to do, the same thing your mama used to do, the same thing your grandma used to do, why wouldn't you call it out? Like literally, verbatim, like literally to the T. And I feel like, yeah, if you could catch it and stop it, why wouldn't you try to do that? Anyways, it's gonna be uh evidence of attempts that I have tried. I'm only one person. That's why they say a family that prays together stay together. They never said they talk about praying mothers too. But let's give a shout out to praying fathers out there. Nobody ever really give them accolades. So shout out to you praying fathers out there that are actually the glue to your families. Your wife or spouse or partner might not always be easy to deal with, or the kids or the bills, but it's some praying fathers out there that's staying down for their families. So shout out to you guys out there. And then you got the praying mothers. You got some praying children too. If y'all don't know, go back and watch the movie of Lilo and Stitch. It was so funny. People almost missed that part. Before the little girl became acquainted with Stitch, she had prayed by her bedside one night. I love how the Hawaiian culture didn't mind exhibiting it about the faith of the people. And she was a child. Lilo in that movie had to be like 6 or 7 years old. But maybe things weren't easy. It's actually the perfect movie to use for this topic, for example. There's one so much a generational cycle, but look how the generational cycle can be positive or negative. They believed in their family. That's why they had a quote. Family means Ohana means family. Family means nobody gets left behind. But see, even as much as they believed in it, the kids' parents had died, so the big sister was responsible to take care of the little sister. It's a really powerful movie because I don't know if y'all paid attention. The big sister, CPS got called on her about 10 times. I'm gonna tell y'all as a child, that movie did used to always get me. Like, I was really paying attention a long time ago. See how they had more like a tint color to their skin? Lilo and her big sister. They might not have been black, but it was clear they were islanders. They was from the islands. They have their own culture. Though people like, oh, Hawaii is a part of the United States. Obviously, that means nothing when it comes to culture. Those Hawaiian islanders still practice their own form of religion, their own form of faith. They have their own culture. I think that's funny. No matter how much you try to colonize it or say, yeah, they're a part of the U.S. So she ended up being responsible for her baby sister. Their parents had passed away. If you go back and watch the movie, and you can see that both of the girls were hurting, and they did a great job to me showcasing that. Like how the older girl, though she was barely, I think Lilo's big sister had to be no older than 17. She had a little job, she had a little apartment, and she was trying to take care of her baby sister. So even that Disney movie, that's what's crazy about it. This was a Disney movie. CPS came to that girl house 10 times, and all she was trying to do is her best to take care of the little child who had been left in her custody because their parents died. And it's crazy, even in that movie, you didn't really see outside of the boyfriend the girl ended up finding. That was the whole point of Stitch coming into their life. To fill voids for the younger girl. She was missing her parents every night. She slept with a picture of her parents under her pillow every night. And sometimes, even through that, no matter how much her big sister hugged her, no matter how much her big sister bought her, her sister still was never going to be able to fill the void of that child not having her parents. And that's what a lot of us try to do. We see the void in the young people. We feel like we know exactly why they act the way they act, or why they don't have what they don't, or whatever. But even when you try to fill those voids, that Disney movie showed us, right? Because if you ask me, Lilo's behavior was kind of wild too. Of course, she was a sweet little girl, but for what her big sister had going on, she was being a wild child. She didn't understand. Her sister was trying to tell her, "Sweetie, the kids were going to take you. You can't do this and that." This was a decent movie, y'all. And I think for the most part, the agent in the movie that kept coming over there and messing with him, he never hid it from the beginning. He gave her a lot of chances, but he never hid in the beginning that that was his motive to take that little girl from her big sister. It's just the perfect movie to reference to for this topic. It was funny. They showed him as a black man with the sunglasses on, real buff and scary, like make you think of the feds or something. And this lady was only 18 years old. All she was trying to do was take care of her little sister. It ain't like she asked for her parents to have been killed in a car accident. It ain't like she was asked, "Are you ready to do this?" She had to just jump in and do it. Because once their parents died, that's the only person her little sister had was her. That movie made me mad in the beginning how the workers were trying to do her, knowing, they were asking, "Do you got a job? And can you cook? And are you a good fit for this little child?" They didn't look at their family culture there, what they were taught when those kids' parents were alive and stuff like that. All they cared about, quote unquote, was the well being of the child at that moment. They did not care about 6 months prior or that her parents had died. They didn't care about 6 months into the future. And even a Disney movie showed us that. It's crazy. It was so much truth in it. I say in Lilo and Stitch, it was definitely shown in that movie in a form. I'm like, was that what they were trying to show us? It was shown how they most times are quicker to divide the family than to help the family. Seriously. And she was on a little bitty island. Now, I don't know what kind of help assistance they have in Hawaii. It's such an old movie. Um, but if they had child services, I know they had even in the movie, y'all had child services because y'all kept coming to Lilo's sister's house. But what other resources could they have possibly helped that young lady with? Come on, y'all. She didn't even get a boyfriend to the end of the movie. That's why the movie funny to me. And it's so funny. Y'all know her boyfriend probably didn't know the least bit about having children or what to feed a child. He was just her boyfriend. Oftentimes it's like that with some of us in real life. I think most of the time I saw it happen about 10 years ago when you first started seeing the threads and comments, the viral comments about how young women should stop bringing. You probably never thought the day or time would come, y'all. Let's talk about young black women specifically, just because of the increasing number of them missing and being harmed and in danger. That's what some of us meant when we said Black Lives Matter. Yes, all lives matter, but it's still too high of increasing percentage numbers of specifically black women and children being harmed, being disappearing, all that. I can't change the statistics, but I can speak on the statistics. It's sad. We do know statistics become statistics because black women are really real. They exist. The black women and the children they come from. Not every black father walks away from their children. This segment is my opinions, commentary, and reaction to real events across the globe today. But it's not to demonize the black man today, because not every black father walks out on their children. We're talking about generational cycles though today. How many truly have? hmm And they want to turn around and try to mask it. That's crazy. There's no way you can accuse somebody of walking away from their child. There would have to be evidence of that. Period. Whether you walk away, give them up willingly, either way, it's a form of dividing the home. It's a form of dividing the black family. once again, why weren't systems and programs created to more assist in keeping the families together rather than what can we do? Why is division always the first resort? No matter, the law won't change for me, uh, but that doesn't mean I don't have a right to my opinion about how this has been affecting families. You know, it's more like what can we do to see how we can split them up. That's what it feel like. If it ain't that, what is this cycle? I believe whether I'd have had sons or daughters, whatever cycles, whatever patterns, whatever God had in store for me to go through to learn what I needed to learn, God's already busy with that. I'm just talking about me personally, but I believe He's busy with that with a lot of families. We're all seeing something. Somebody said in the comments before that in their opinions, it's impossible when you have multiple children to save all of them. To this day, I can't accept it. I can't accept that as a truth. I can't accept it as a forfeit. I was like, how does that work? Because how would any one child in the household be more important or more need more attention? I'm not saying that's not possible. Maybe that child need more attention, but just to say a child, and that's another generational curse in a lot of Black families. I don't know what to call it, but favoritism. It ain't just Black families, but I'm gonna speak on it because it's very bad in the Black community. They pick and choose. Before the baby got opportunity to even learn who they are, the baby might already be deemed a family enemy just because some family members have not learned to accept everybody in their family. It's to me, it's fixable stuff, but people got to work on themselves. Honestly, ostracizing one woman for the benefit of the world is crazy to me. The last person they did that to was Jesus Christ. Ostracize a person globally to make a point. It happened to Christ. When Christ was teaching on families of all cultures, Christ was teaching on unity for all the people. He still got ostracized for his own teachings. And a lot of them I see truth in, especially today. But that's another problem is the quote unquote favoritism. You know what I mean? I swear people do that. They're not gonna admit it probably. But I can only admit that it's real because I know it is. Like not only have I witnessed it in my own family, I'm talking about people that have gone through in their families, and some of them weren't even Black. Just feeling like there's a cousin that's more preferred as a family member than themselves. There's a sister that's more deemed righteous than another sister. There's a brother that's more stay out the streets and out the hood than the other brother. Like we cannot blame this on Willie Lynch anymore. This is stuff I'm seeing Black people choose to do, and it's crazy to me. First, you could at least use the Willie Lynch syndrome as an excuse. You could say that you're mentally damaged. Well, admit that. Because that really was a system created to divide your household. But how can you blame Uncle Sam's system or the Willie Lynch system and you are the one doing the dividing? You're helping. You're helping. You're working with CPA. You're working with the police. You're working with whoever you can to divide a family's home. How is that not still resembling the Willie Lynch effect? Turning one child against one mother, turning one mother against one father. What I've done my best to do, for the record, is teach my kids in truth. So when you come out with the truth, it seems blunt to people. It might even be offensive to people. This has been known in the history of truth to happen. When somebody speaks the truth, not everybody claps their hands and get excited. You got some people that immediately feel intimidated, and this is crazy. People need to look at that about themselves because the truth has been here longer than anybody. I don't care what culture you come from. Something like the truth didn't need religion, didn't need age, gender, race. It didn't ask for anybody's permission. The truth was here before any of us was. And to this day, you still got people that get offended at the truth. You got people that get intimidated, jealous at the truth. And until stuff like that, that's why on segments 2 years ago, I got straight to the root of it. I did a topic on emotional intelligence. Because a lot of people that feel like they aren't, they use their position as their emotion. Whatever their position was in the world, whatever their career was, that's what I see happening. People are using their positions as the emotion. Like, this is my position, and this is the decision I can make, and this is my opinion about it, and that's what it is. But when you really get to the depths of emotion in people, you're going to see most people are unstable. It wasn't nothing wrong with your truth. They just couldn't handle it. It wasn't nothing wrong with your music. They just didn't like it. It wasn't nothing wrong with your skin color. They just didn't agree with it. You know what I'm saying? All the times it ain't even you. It's a generational curse. Because I'll be lying if I said my grandmother didn't go through similar things in her 30s that I'm going through right now. And I'm aware of it. Ain't nothing nobody can do to change that. Or I didn't love my grandmother. So I know a little bit about her past. See, I use myself for example on my segments. I don't have to come on here and down talk nobody to teach a real segment to actually give real inspiration. I'm using myself for example. So what I said is, ain't it that don't seem strange to people? My grandmother in her 30s, at the same age I am right now, went through some similar things. I choose to look at my life in a spiritual way. And thank God I did. Because now things make more sense. My mother in her 30s went through some of the same attacks. And I'm going to call them attacks because, like, when it's weaponizing your own household against you, that's something I'm going to recognize because it's very traumatic every time somebody goes through it. For the ones that didn't know, or maybe they know, that's why they do. Sometimes when they say that one quote, if God brought me to it, God will bring me through it. Ain't a position God put me in that he didn't want me to receive power in. So why would I complain about my position? I do sometimes because it's not easy. Like, I don't know where people's source of power come from, but I have always had to be positioned, trained for any form of power I've ever obtained, including motherhood. And y'all don't have to look at motherhood as power, but there were some forms of power that came with motherhood. And I swear I tried to be as flexible, as extendable, as favorable as I could be as the mother, as a judge, right? Because you received a little more power. You became a mother, but when you're a mother, it ain't just your child, right? Yeah. So it came with a lot of decision making, a lot of things I done already saw. People talking later, which I think is funny from my perception. The same people talking today, where were they when I was trying to get everybody on one accord in my own family? Where were they? Where were they when I was being the peacemaker in my own family? Where were they? Where were they when I was preaching unity to the black people right in my own community? Where were they with the photos and video footage and gossip? Because to me, that's what should have been showcased about my life when I was around communities we're really working towards unity. But y'all probably ain't gonna find no records of it. Like how at one point I worked with the Texas Homeless Coalition Board because I had a heart for the homeless. And it's not a position you're paid, it's a volunteer position. Most states do have a homeless coalition board. They have somewhere you can volunteer. They have a church you can go speak to the youth at. And this is what my past used to look like. Not that I owe anybody an explanation. Before my own daughters were preteens, of course, back then they just around mommy doing whatever. Mommy going to church, we gotta go to church. Mommy's going to go give sandwiches to the homeless, we gotta go give sandwiches to the homeless. It wasn't something they were choosing, but it was my way of inviting humility, humbleness into my own children's life. A father might feel like I don't ever want to see my daughter walking. But a father that means that, he gonna make sure he got a car and he gonna make sure he's getting that daughter from point A to point B. not sitting back mocking the daughter for walking, not sitting back mocking the mother for not having a car. A real father that don't want to see his daughter walking, he gonna damn sure make sure that child got a way around it. You know what I'm saying? I'm making certain points. Some of it is the psychic in me for sure, because some things I'm just aware of. And there was no way you're gonna call something justice and you because of your opinion. This is what I mean. Your opinion is that mom should have a car. But the facts say that every car she had, you didn't invest a dollar into. You never, she couldn't call you for a ride if she ran out of gas. So why speak on her not having a car now? This is how generational curses look. You got people today don't believe words cast spells, like words. And I understand what verbal abuse is. I just think that the law needs to be tweaked just a little bit. Because we can't call everything else abuse, but a person can sit there and cast a spell on you with their words and go scotch free. And people see the curse working on you. If anything is verbal abuse, that is chanting witchcraft over somebody's name and that literally putting that person in danger. So y'all can have y'all's opinions, but to me, that's true verbal abuse. You speaking curses over somebody's life who is in the midst of breaking curses in their life. What's the proof? They were the first in their family to get a college degree. Some of us we weren't. But see, you don't walk around every day with a degree on your t-shirt saying it. That's not something people would know about you unless you state that. It still don't change the facts. So I be looking at the world. Opinions versus facts. That's the synonym. I'm sorry, is it synonym? What word am I looking for? But that's the opposite of that. The opposite of cursed is blessed. If somebody's walking out of the darkness, walking out of a cursed place in their life, the only place for them to go is blessed. I don't care how much you try. See, let me try to explain this again. If a person felt like they was cursed and was already working on breaking curses in their life, and the opposite of cursed is blessed, and they are already transitioning into blessed. They're already transitioning into blessings. They're already transitioning into miracles. Because that's what we call breaking a curse. Watch all the Disney movies. If a curse was ever broken in a Disney movie, people definitely found it as a miracle, as a blessing. So it's the same thing in the spiritual world. What I see happening is people walking out of curses at a rate that we've never seen before. We might see the curses still being prevalent in people's lives and the cycles, but a lot of people are turning away from them too. I think that should be on the media news just as well. How many people are saying no, no more? You know what I mean? How many people are standing up for their families? Because they are out here doing it. But why is that not mediatized? Just the discord, just the crazy stuff in the streets, right? That's like somebody already. The perfect example. I thought about Moses because maybe, maybe God's saying I needed help with this topic. Okay, so this is what I mean. This how people look. This is how y'all look trying to stop somebody who's already decided they're done being cursed. So here we go. The children of Israel had already made it past Pharaoh's territory. They had already made it out of bondage. They were walking into the promised land. That's the same season some of us are in right now. You're not exactly at the promised land, but you're still travailing that journey. You're on it right now. You think that's not the time you're gonna be tested the most? You're not exactly in bondage, but you are just on your way to the promised land. You just walking there. Because that's exactly what they were doing. They walked. They took the cattle they had, the clothes on their back, and the children they had and the families they had, and they literally walked by foot. This is in historical documentation. They didn't have chariots and horses. Some of them did, but for the most part, they're big, large. Or you can go back to the Trail of Tears. Some people don't like me referencing to the story of Moses. Okay, well let's reference to the Trail of Tears. Something in history we really, really, really know happened. I believe in Moses. I believe that happened too. Where did the Ten Commandments come from? But let's talk about the Trail of Tears. Another great group body of people who were forced to walk to their own freedom, create their own freedom. All I know is every account of a story of people that were trying to do that. Oh yeah, they were attacked. So what do y'all want me to say? Of course I expect it. That's the most dangerous time. Even if you think about a domestic violence relationship, because hell, you might as well call slavery domestic violence. It's somebody that has made up their mind they own you. Uh, Anytime anybody's ever been in bondage, the most dangerous time, I'm telling y'all, they don't even tell you in domestic violence therapy. The most dangerous time is not when you're still in slavery. It's not when you're actually being abused in domestic violence. The most dangerous time is when you leave. First of all, I can't wait to prove my point at a higher level too. This is just my work as a motivational speaker. Just 2 years ago, I motivational speak. Boom! It just was that, y'all. I can't make it up. In the past 2 years, though, my work as a motivational speaker has definitely been attacked. I'm not just talking about my family life. I'm talking about my actual work. The IRS has never had to write me a letter, thank God, because I do report my work. I report my earnings. Anyways, we're just talking. I'm touching around different systems because the IRS itself is a system that I don't feel like ever attacked me. If anything, they were happy that I filed my taxes. They're happy that I'm reporting what I'm trying to do year after year, like most Americans. So, like the Trail of Tears, like I said, it's just that's the most dangerous time when you exit. This is why most abusers or captors or dictators, most rebels get offended when they feel like they've lost all control. That's why it's the most dangerous time for somebody that's been newly regained freedom in their life. That's the most dangerous time. Period. I feel like the law should change a little bit and have a little bit more protection for those that are actually exiting toxic situations. Because that's great. I'm gonna tell y'all what y'all do. All y'all out there that preach y'all know so much, this is what you do. You say, well, you should leave that situation. I wouldn't stay in a situation like that. Uh, y'all tell these women just leave, right? Because it's so easy to do. Just leave that man. Just leave that family. Just leave that neighbor because it's so easy to do. First of all, I can really break down the cost of moving and leaving because I actually have a history of doing it time and time and time again because the word of God is what I stand on. And he says that when a prophet is not receiving honor in his country, when you are rejected in a place, and yes, I said the word prophet, dust your feet off. This is what Christ said about it and turn away. Christ never said force your teachings or beliefs or motivation on people. Yeah, you know why he don't teach us to do that? Because a real light is going to shine for itself, period. A real light, you can dim it, but you can't put it out. That's going to show for itself. So God never asked any one of us to force religion. That's why I know any type of excessive force on me, I don't have to accept it. God himself does not force his teaching, his religion, his love. He doesn't force that on me. So why would I let somebody excessively force something on me? God himself don't do that. You got humans, I think they call them narcissists though. They believe in their hearts, if I use excessive force, this is the truth. Because I'm gonna make it the truth. Anything you gotta force ain't the truth. Period. Something that's the truth is just that, because it's that. The truth ain't never needed no help. That's what I'm trying to tell people. And the truth is, generational cycles and curses are real. You got all these, I just named two different instances of groups of people who also learned, wait a minute, I wasn't in danger where I was, where the massacre was happening, where the killings were happening, where the hangings were happening. That's not where I was in danger. I was in danger when I was trying to leave the shit. That's exactly how it is. Anybody in a toxic situation, you're gonna see more turmoil after you try to leave. Now I'm gonna let y'all put the puzzle pieces together. I had more peace when I just stood still. Which I'm not gonna take from the word of God. Uh, he does say, "Be still and know that I am God." That's what the word of God says. So I'm just saying I have experience with being still and being very busy. I There's no in between. There, anybody ever know me know that. If I have a goal, I'm focused on something. I got a car, I got my business affairs set up. You probably aren't hearing from me much. You probably aren't seeing me as much as you used to in the hood. You probably are seeing a person smoke more because they feel like they aren't living in their normal life. My normal life, I'm busy all the time. Period. I'm taking the average me has 3 phones. Just me, not the kids yet. Me. My life is just easier that way. It has nothing to do with being bougie or having money. That's what I'm used to. 3 phones at a time. One for business, one for personal calls, maybe one for email, whatever. That's how what makes your life comfortable? That's the question. What makes your life more accommodable for you? What makes you happy? Because me having 3 phones shouldn't bother you, right? Me having a 2 bedroom apartment shouldn't bother anybody when I've had bigger, right? Or I've had lesser too. I done actually had kids. I had 3 kids in a 1 bedroom apartment before. You can judge that, or you can say that's a mother that no matter what she got to do, them kids have always had a place to stay. God told me to come pre. God told me don't let up on my truth, because the thing is, it's a lot of people out here ain't even qualified. They're not even qualified to speak the truth, but they want to tell me blah blah blah. They want to say I'm not qualified. The last I checked, experience qualifies a person. Certain stipulations qualify a person. Experience is definitely one of those stipulations. So what was I supposed to be? One that experienced things and just stay silent for the rest of my life, and these are just the things I've been through? No. Well, God showed me, I'll bless you. Your paycheck can come from me if you choose to do that. Take your experiences and share them with others. Only a person who was a part of those experiences wouldn't want you to. Period. And that's why I personally don't speak to people on the daily. I just really watch my actions. It's fine. I never know whose movie I'm going to be in next week, whose documentary I'm going to be a part of, who's going to write a book 10 years later and they're going to remember me. I would want them to have some type of positive things to say. And I teach my kids like that. Then an Arthur for sure. I told them like this. I said, girls, before you even grown, I have had to think about something. And they were like, what, mommy? One of y'all could write a book like your mom does. They right now society's more worried about the content I write. But yeah, one day one of my girls could be a writer. And yes, one of their books could directly be about me. I've wrote about my family before, so it is what it is. But like I said, they gave me a new perception on life. You do know the girls will be 30 like you one day. And if they choose to write a book, they can write a book. And I made a joke. I said, girls, people are going to read it too because you wrote it. It's different me writing my life story and my daughter telling her story from her perspective about her mother. Does that make sense? And this is for the record too. Any one of y'all that have never invested in one of my books, I'm not going to say you're irrelevant, like you've never invested in one of my books, but you speak negatively about me and my kids, you are a non-factor at this time in my life. You can be a factor to the people you're telling that stuff to, whatever you're saying. But you know, the finances will prove you're a non-factor. You haven't bought one of you haven't bought one of my I got multiple on Amazon Kindle right now. People can go buy a book. This Christmas. It's called God Save the Queen, guys. Series 1, Torture Blood. For anybody that might want to go check it out, get one for Christmas. It's a great suspenseful. It's a suspenseful thriller for sure. Okay, I would say they're based on true things that happened. The book is not based on true events, but it's based on true circumstances in the world. something like sex trafficking or criminal ring activity. Okay, so that's sometimes a place I write from. The story might not be true or about me directly, but I might use true events that happened to me to help me tell a story, or I might use my experience, something like that. And that's what God Save the Queen look like. I also have a poetry collection called Black Blood for anybody that might want to check that out. Both can be found under the name Arthur Tedescherry Whitney on Amazon Kindle this Christmas 2024. So I wasn't saying it to brag or be funny, but most of the people who have given bad reports on me don't, number one, know I'm an author. Number two, they've never bought a book. Because if I had 100 people buy a book this month, rent wouldn't even been a factor or issue. That would have paid the rent alone. By the way, my books are $8.99 per copy. So you got to come and say it from your point of view. And me as a writer, because I've heard it all, y'all, I'd be sitting back laughing in secret. I know somebody was wondering when I hear rumors, how does it affect me? I laugh at some of it because, like I said, most of them saying whatever they saying. I'm just using the books for example. They've never invested in one of my Crown Publishing T-shirts. I'm selling bracelets right now, chakra balance beads. They haven't invested in one of those. They haven't bought one of my books. Um, for y'all out there though, because let me give reverence to you guys really quick. If you've ever purchased a service from Crown Publishing Content, if you've ever published a book, if you've ever hit the like button or subscribed to one of my channels, I just want to take the time out to say thank you. Because like I said, we know it's not them people. Why would they sit there and support you and then turn around and try to set you up? Not saying that's not possible. Not saying that's not possible. But I did want to give a special shout out to those that I wouldn't care if it's 10 years ago. Because me, I done stayed in different places, met all kind of people. Um, but if you have ever supported Arthur Tedescherry at this time, on my journey, I call it a journey because a lot of people thought I was going to stop at books, but I'm on my way into filmmaking school. So that's how God works sometimes. You might have just started off as a mechanic, but you end up an 18-wheeler driver. I don't know. I'm trying to give y'all examples. You started off as a firefighter, you ended up being a fire chief. That's what I'm saying. If there isn't growth or change, that's when you get concerned about me. My past 5 years have been nothing but growth. We got the proof. That's all y'all need to know. Nothing but straight growth. And the ones that know, if any addiction is around or seem to got heavier or whatever, the people that need to know, they saw exactly why it happened. Well, oh my God, she smoked cigarettes more than she just did last year. Well, of course, I had a newborn baby last year. Couldn't really smoke it like that, could I? And the year before that, you were actually pregnant with her. So that's my thing with people and keeping generational cycles and stuff going. We're quicker to down somebody than we are to offer them a helping hand. That's why just so y'all know, that's why they don't want me speaking at the churches. That's why I still have a right to freedom of speech. And the last time I checked, I know the worst form of verbal abuse is literally casting a word spell over somebody and sitting back to watch to see if it worked. That is crazy to me. Like I wanna say a lie so bad on this person life that it ruins something for this person. You might not consider that witchcraft, but the God I serve, the one who originated all of this, he looks at it as that. That's why he said the tongue is one of the most deadliest weapons. In the spirit world, yeah, they know this. Those with spiritual knowledge know this. That's how deep this is. Even teachers know this. They're called spelling words. The teachers know this too. But like I was saying, how are people not being prosecuted for casting whole spells on people? Because you do have to use your words and chant to do something like that. Straight up. I knew I might not have been around when the founding fathers made the Constitution, but I would have been the one in the room to say, hey, that one that says freedom of religion, y'all might want to go ahead and erase that. I would have been the one in the room to feel that way because I do today. I would have been the one. I would have said everything on this Constitution looks about right. We know that some of the rights for Black people changed later. Later, after the Declaration of Proclamation. I'm sorry, Proclamation. I forgot how to say it. What is it? Proclamation. Y'all know what I'm talking about. One was written before the other. That's what I'm. I said some things changed for Black people later. Uh, but the part when they came together and said, yes, we're going to make it freedom of religion, somebody should have said something that day. It just wasn't a good idea. Because now we can call what we want to verbal abuse, but we can't prosecute people who are truly doing it. We used to be taught a quote that words, what did they say? Sticks and stones might break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Because people are more sensitive than ever today. You can't even speak the truth without somebody getting mad. Like facts, like you can't even teach about history. They might get offended at who's teaching it. That's like telling me I can't go research Coretta Scott King or other great Black women pioneers because you feel like I don't deserve to. That's too close to slavery, baby. Because during those times, may I remind everybody, they tried to stop Black women from reading and writing. I have a reason to keep going. It literally was illegal to learn how to read right here in this country once upon a time for Black people. You cannot compete where you don't compare. Have you ever been forced to not learn how to read? Okay. So when the advantage came to my hands or the opportunity, I definitely learned how to read. I definitely further my education. I just told y'all film school is next. And not to become an actor. There are many people who play a part in bringing something like a film together. Like I said, they be just trying to compete where they don't compare. Do you even know about the industry I'm trying to grow in? Do you know anything about it? If you did, you would be over here trying to help me get in the quickest way because I'm not selling my soul for any riches. That's been known about Teddy Sherry already. That's why they have to sneak it and steal it and do it behind my back. I have never willingly said, yes, here's my soul. What do y'all want me to do? That's not what I have planned for my life. You know, when you know that you're naturally creative, you naturally think of inspiration to start new things. What do I need to join anybody for? It's called independence. Something that's rare. It's not really rare because, like, on our side of the hemisphere, in Western culture, it's actually praised. It was so much so it's in the music. It's praised for a woman to live independently. See how that worked? I'm saying people got to pay attention. So it was cool when we was hollering INDEPENDNT with Lil Webby, but how do people truly feel about the American Black woman doing things on her own? Because I'm gonna start catching footage of it. Because they'll tell me in a minute my words and my actions have to line up. Okay. We're saying no, everybody got free right and Black women can be as successful as they want to in this country. Well, let's see if everybody actions line up to their words. Because we about to find out real quick. Everybody does not want to see the Black woman succeed. This segment in itself is called weaponizing the Black family. And when you weaponize something, there's usually a target. Nobody shoots without okay. Um, I guess that's crazy. People still telling me that it's crazy how people can be shocked at what you know. I don't have any comments for that. All I gotta say is what I said. I don't have to be dumb for anybody, even if my truth shocks them. 10 years later, 5 years later, I've been paying attention for a very long time. Anybody don't believe me can ask my mother about how observant and assertive I was as a child. I love my kids, but none of them even exhibit a little bit like really how much of a leader I was as a child. It's other people can account to this too. So we're not talking about competing no more. We're talking about uplifting one another. Don't you think God, like I said at the beginning of the segment, puts people in positions for power for a certain reason? For real. We just want to control who it is. Maybe the country has us this way. They told you you got a right and you can choose who's going to be in there. It's going to be Republic or Democrat and you can choose. So now people think they can choose for everybody. They're not just trying to choose for themselves. Right now, somebody right now is thinking about choosing your destiny for you. If you're not careful, somebody right now is working hard night and day to choose your future, to choose your destiny, to choose what you're going to do in the afterlife too. Some of them net controlling. They want to control your soul too when you gone, just to make people aware. It's hard to call a person crazy that you can find proof of the facts she's speaking on. Some people, real life just won't. They are busy controlling your destiny. Let me say trying to. Me, that's why they not going to find that around me. I'm telling y'all, you're not going to find, you might, whatever evidence you got, you might have found that, but you'll never find evidence around me working that hard to change somebody else's destiny. And if I do end up working with law enforcement at any time in my future, I know what my purpose, like before I even joined the field, I know what my purpose is. I don't think you guys understand. I think it ain't for me to call on 911 on the clock as I say this. It's exactly 9:11 a.m. You know what I'm saying? I can't make this up. Mountain time it is. That's what time it is as I said that. That's my truth though. I wouldn't join the force for power to feel more powerful. I wouldn't join the force to have the upper hand on somebody, to bully somebody. My purpose, I'm just speaking about me though, when I join, and really my life is nobody's business, but they would be amazed. I had asked God too, I'm not gonna lie. It's different areas of my life I asked him to sprinkle favor on already. Cause some of this stuff, just like I'm prophetic, there have been prophets to tell me things long before today. And I can only call them crazy if some of the things they said did not come to pass. I don't know who they thought they was talking to or playing with, but you got the right one. You got the real one. For real. Uh, she said at that time, she said, you gonna have to keep paperwork. I know now that I actually live in this moment, it's different. Like it's deep too. Cause I remember what she told me. She said, you're going to end up having to keep, she didn't say nothing about legal matters, affairs, people crossing me over in the future. That's the thing about God. He's not going to tell you exactly how it's going to come to pass, but he did speak. Some of the things happening, he already had told me it's going to happen. So now I'm more concerned for others because there might have been some things he said about and I'm aware of it. That's why I'm so calm most of the time. All I can do is sit back and watch, really, because it's like it's going to happen or it's not. But I'm not that concerned to watch that hard to see if it happened. So this is what I mean. She was like, you're going to have to, young lady, you're going to end up, and don't let me tell y'all what was going on in my life at this time. All I know, that's the time God loves, when I'm having, like, not saying he like to see me struggle, but that's when he likes to communicate with me. Because who want to be around you struggling? Who really wants to be your friend and you're struggling? Who wants to be around you? Who wants to say that they associate themselves with you? But God don't have a problem with it. He said, well, this is the perfect time for me to speak to my child about the truth while she's isolated. If I got to make her stink for people to stay away, well, she's homeless now. If I got to put her in a 2-bedroom for people to stay away from her, that's what God did. If I got to move her to another state, what I'm telling y'all is God is not intimidated by isolation. Hopefully that's been shown through my life. He said, well, that's even more room for everybody to see it was me this time. Wasn't nobody helping her. They gon' for sure. If they didn't know about God and miracles in my life this time, they finna for sure see it. Cause I've been all alone, standing on my own 2 feet and 10 toes. And any little help I did get, I got shamed for it. Some way, shape, or form. And I still feel like this is my purpose. So who gonna take that from me? Yes, there was a season you went through something emotionally because you didn't understand it at first. I'm talking about me because it might help somebody else. You're not going to understand isolation, independence at first. Not even the children of Israel did. That's why they questioned God and said, must we go back to bondage? At least there we got rest. We had food. They start bringing up to God what they thought was better while they were in bondage. That's how much they didn't understand independence, freedom, and things like that. Nobody said independence was going to be easy, comfortable, and a lot of y'all, to encourage y'all, I hate to say it, a lot of y'all that think people have it like that and you're coveting them, envying them. 9 times out of 10, it's a facade. Like they probably are successful, but they're pulling a few illegal strings to keep that going. And I'm not that desperate. That's the difference between me and other people, or why it's taking so long for me. As far as business plans, ideas, things like that, the original stuff, we got that for days. That's why we ain't been worried about who stopped what. When you had 10 other ideas that you knew ain't nobody did before and it was gonna take off. Weaponizing the black family against each other is like trying to turn them against each other for one another's gifts. This is what I mean. You want little Jack Jack to hate Johnny because he's a football star? Maybe Jack Jack wasn't born with football capabilities. They both boys, but I wouldn't sit there and prioritize the one with the talent when they both my kids. That's me. I'm different. I'm not gonna let that type of generational curse. I'm trying not to. But what did I say? It's something different between self-will and force. I have been exercising and practicing openly self-will. And then even with that, they will never call out your strengths. They want to point out the parts of your self-will that looks negative. Look, she willed herself to go get some cigarettes. She willed her. I mean, if you live a basic life, that's not hard to see. They don't showcase that part though. Like, look, that young lady lives a basic life. She not trying to steal for nobody to have more or nothing. They won't they won't mediatize the positive things. That young lady, we ain't never seen her in a club at a game function. You know why? Because you're not gonna catch me there. That's not where I hang out. But they will showcase light on what they can find, or they will create something so they can lie. I don't care how you put it. That's forceful. That's forceful harassment. I'm going to harass you to be what I want you to be. I'm going to harass you so I can say that you are who I say you are. I'm going to harass you so I can make you look. That's force. Either way you put it. And I'm going to say it one more time. Anything you got to force, it wasn't true. I don't. Just think about it, guys. You had to force that thing. Now I believe there's probably positive things. Like I say, if you're gonna force something, do it for the right reasons. But see, I just feel like spiritually, when God responds and it's not something and it's hurtful to people, it still baffles me how they feel they have the right to be hurt or they have the right to blame somebody. But when they were forcing themselves on somebody, they saw absolutely no issue with it. Why, ladies and gentlemen? Because some people's power, position, lineage, whatever it is. I'm just saying earthly judgment versus spiritual judgment. And then I've always been more in love with learning the ins and out of spiritual court because there are spiritual laws. Not because I said it, because they exist. There's laws to physics. You better ask Newton. There's laws to physics. But we want to only focus on the laws of the land. And in God's eyes, it don't work like that. How you abide by the laws of the land is great, but that's not what's going to get you into heaven. I don't know, because maybe some people didn't know that. What gets you into heaven is those spiritual laws you practiced and followed. And sitting there sending death trap attacks to innocent people is you will be found guilty in spiritual law if you've been doing something like that. And then you can't sit there and do just like in real court, you can confess. Ask the priest. See, there's things in spiritual court, the way this go in spiritual laws that people can do or they didn't know. They were too busy trying to drag me to the 3D court, not knowing what I had already won in the heavenly courts. Okay. And sometimes when things are produced spiritually first, it takes a second to manifest in the physical. And they can only call me crazy after the next year of my life. Give God another year. Give him another 2 years when it come to my story. Ain't no way he brought me this far and he's done. And there's no way. That's my faith though. There's no way, because you can, just like you can have unfinished business with people on the streets, unfinished business with a previous employer, unfinished business with the IRS. You can also have unfinished business with God. And I don't know. I don't know how to tell y'all. Like, I have seen evidence of this. You could have moved on for something you forgot about you did 10 years ago, or somebody did to you 10 years ago. Spiritual court won't forget. And see, I be trying to bring these messages out of love because everybody want to act confused when karma start hitting people back. They want to, that's when they want to accuse you of being a witch and all this stupid stuff. And it's just time out. When I get to heaven, I'm going to be judged for the truth I spoke. Through the danger, through the turmoil, through the trials and tribulations. God, I never stopped speaking the truth or what I felt was my truth. Those that were silenced, I still want to give a moment of silence for right now. I hope to sit with them in heaven one day because I know exactly how I feel for the attempt to be silenced. Some people have literally been, that's why we're not playing with the criminals today. There are people in a grave from people silencing them. But they want me to ignore signs that is happening, that the attempt is set up before me too. You know what I'm saying? I can't get through life around lies, but I can prove that people wanted me to. I can prove that everything was forced. Every lie a person wanna even claim I'm living, it was forced. Because if a person is clearly been trying to speak their truth for the past 2 years, and y'all just keep saying their channel be took down and views being played with, that's the truth then. And then for me, that's why I say they can't keep up with the stupid stuff they say about me or something, because if the lady's so crazy and what she's saying is not significant, why you keep playing with her view? Why you keep taking her video? Why you keep causing something to happen to her devices? Why you keep playing with her Wi-Fi? But they'll turn around and say, well, you're behind on bills. When you play with somebody work like that, they will be behind on bills because you're playing with their freedom of speech. Some of us, that is our work: speaking, music, anything to do with the audible. You know what I'm saying? Making others feel better through vibrations, whether that's my words or music or whatever. We need more people to do it, if you ask me. Hopefully Trump agrees. Can influencing people in a positive way be legal for once? Can there be protection for those that walk in that light? I even watched the movie X-Men. The X-Men had more protection than a lot of black families do. I guess because, see, they weren't superheroes at first. They were deemed superheroes. They had to earn that title as X-Men. X-Men started off at the school. But you got people trying to skip school. They it's like this, y'all. I found a better analogy. You know how a kid does something to another kid and they try to stop that kid from going to go tell? That pretty much sums up the past 3 years of my life. But the kid, it's childish, because we know when kids do that, the kid is only trying to stop the other kid from telling because what that kid is saying is true. But see, in the adult world, we want to play confused and crazy. Like, oh my God, why they trying to silence that person? Why that person being attacked with legal cases all over them all of a sudden? Why that person being deemed crazy all of a sudden? This how I think, especially if it was suddenly. Especially if it's after they done spoke some truth. You know what I'm saying? That's how grown-ups are. I'm still a little disgusted. Y'all gotta excuse me. Like, it's disgusting to me that you got grown folks feel like they gotta go run and tell something because they know once you speak on the truth, that what so that's why I don't understand it. Once that person still speak on the truth or go tell on that other kid, the truth gonna come out. But I do watch kids like that because that's where it starts in childhood, who try to hide their hand and everything. Like, I'm definitely trying to teach my kids not to be that way. I want to use my baby, one of my younger babies, for example. I laugh. She's so honest, y'all. Like, she reminds me of myself so much. And I use her for example in front of her sisters all the time. I'd be like, "Baby, did you do this?" And she'll be like, "Yeah." She might hold her head down low, and she might even show the guilt a little bit. And it's the cutest thing to me. Like, she might look at me like, "Why do mommy always laugh and smile and call this cute and hug me when I tell the truth?" Because, baby, I'm trying to plant seeds of righteousness inside of you. First of all, people want to stop at the mother and say the children ain't gonna be nothing if they can take the mother down. When it's a whole scripture that talks about how God actually stands just a little bit closer. His wing surrounds them a little harder when there's no father and mother involved. If you don't believe me, go read the book of Matthew, read the book of Proverbs, read the book of Psalms sometimes. God has a heart for the motherless, the fatherless. He already know how wolves look upon them. That's why I think he's a good God. Cain and Abel wasn't mother and fatherless, yet a son still killed his brother. They had both parents in the household, and one still took the life of the other. So it gets deep to me when it comes to assessing the truth about my life. See, if the truth was as easy as me going to look at a few truth tellers and get the truth from them, my life would have been settled a long time ago. One of my last segments, I read from the scripture where God literally said, I don't come to bring peace. I'm not coming to bring peace. I come to bring the sword, which is the truth. He already know it's finna start cutting people. It's finna start making people angry. Ooh, but the whole time, the truth is the truth. And then if people don't want a certain thing to be the truth about them, it would take them to having to literally change. And people have a problem with that. So they rather take you out. They rather silence you. They rather throw you in a crazy home. I'm just letting people know I am aware. And it's gonna be more of a fight with me because I literally, I'm gonna speak on that when the time right. I just done seen them do that to too many people. So it wouldn't make sense to me. Or like I said, it would prove the pattern. Why? And it's funny. They looked at it like, oh, we can just throw her in there like we did the other ones. No, this the one that spoke up and noticed you did it to the other ones. So I would know exactly what you're doing when you bring that my way. Type of deal. The other ones I'm speaking of is like great like ancestors. Literally went through, how somebody gonna go through the same thing you went through at a different time? To me, that's spiritual. And then every generation, it keeps happening to one of the people in your family. Get out of here. I would want to look into things before my own children have children. Because, if we going to be in danger or threat just having children, because people going to use our children against us, you know, that's something people need to know before they begin to repopulate in the future, especially our children today. And as we go through everything we go through personally, I do ask for you guys' positive thoughts and prayers in the world. I'm still the same person. I've always been like this, like just really, really, I can't say secretive, but I just prefer not to. I think people see why now too. They be like, why you don't share your business with everybody? Look what y'all do with it. And it looks disgusting. This looks disgusting. You chose to use me for an example of what you can do to others. But since you made that statement, others do see your point and others see my point. Like, they might be doing whatever, but she's definitely peeping it. So now what? It's crazy, y'all. I respect, before I cut this off, some of the celebrities that have come out and shown us more about their personal lives. If I've ever spoken on your life as a celebrity, please listen to the beginning of the segments where I tell my viewers, let's see what we can learn from this story. Whether it was Tyrese I was speaking on and his issues with women and them using him for his money, or because it wasn't just women. I would speak on women celebrities. You know what I mean? Sometimes I had points to make about Kevin Samuels or whatever, but like I said, it was always at the end of the day for the upliftment or what we could learn. Because if somebody with $1 billion can go through something that you going through poor, why would you still think it's you? Yes, you play some type of part. You got to take accountability somewhere, but it's probably deeper than you if it's happening to people with millions of dollars too. I don't care what it is. And it's like, you know what I'm saying, the facts in the media right now are backing up what I say. You even got some of them get sensitive. Like how you got millions and billions of dollars, but you get sensitive at what I consider my truth. If you don't know me, if I have no money, I don't even sit with the Joneses at all. Why would anything I say offend you? If anything, I should be worried about how you think about me. You the one with the $1 billion. Ain't that something? But it's the ones with the $1 billion trying to go tell everybody a poor woman is crazy. Just because you have $1 billion or a higher position or a little more money, don't make you more emotionally intact. It doesn't make you more intelligent. It's not to take away from people that's successful in the area of finances. Once again, I'm just the type to had already researched how a lot of people get to those finances and so quick. Only a person that was truly trying to make it to the top would have even researched something like that a long time ago. Of course, I've studied the life of the Joneses and people with money. They study poor people, don't they? I don't know what it is they be trying to find. Because the last I checked, a person that's poor or basic income, check to check, it's the same things going on with them until they make a change in their life. Me, with money, without money, I'm going to make the best of my life. And I love that God taught me to do such. Because we never know. You can go from having $1 million, all the banks shut down tomorrow. Do you still know how to find happiness within? Lauren Hill, shout out to you, sis. Another one they shut down because all she spoke was the truth. Lauren Hill, a black woman who tried to speak her truth through the form of lyrics and song. They also stopped her whole career. They didn't like her telling women to love themselves and know themselves and don't have babies till you're married. And they didn't like her telling people that, obviously. And she was preaching this in the early 90s. And her music, Lauren Hill, wherever she is, it's people like that might know some of us. We just don't know they know us. They've heard how we stand 10 toes down, trying to break generational curses. And now people wanted me to feel irrelevant for that. But like that's an example of it. There are people that highly respect somebody working to break generational curses and cycles, not just for themselves, for their family's future. I'm gonna tell y'all why the devil hit me a little harder. Like I said, when I graduated, he might have set up things around me so I couldn't make it to the actual graduation ceremony. That's something literal. I got $1 million stories for days. I guess the enemy wanted me to feel like, well, you didn't get the walking across the stage experience, but I got the degree experience. I mean, I got the degree that came in the mail. What else is there to beat myself up for? But I'm saying the act of graduating in itself, though, Satan, did break a curse if none of the people in my family were going to college, sweetie. That's not a badge of honor you can take from me. That's just gonna forever, since the day I decided to graduate college, that's what that became. You are now uh the first person, maybe out of your mother's kids or your grandmother's grandkids, however we gotta look at it. And let's not talk about what you stood down through while you were in school. I had prayed one thing because I like to pray prayers of favor. Uh After every level up, God, because he said after every new level is a new devil. You know what I mean? I'm starting to believe that. That's why I don't believe in prosperity preachers no more. For you to sit there and preach to a person that once they pray and God gives them $50,000, their life is going to change. Because that's not the truth. A real preacher going to tell you more money, more problems. Like if I was to ever start a ministry, we're going to tell people the truth. Ain't no your life ain't finna change because you done made now you got more money. If anything, you finna have more problems for sure. Not because you don't have financial sense, not because you don't know what you want to go spend your money on. That's not what I'm talking about. You're just gonna have more problems because you got more money. Just ask the people with money. But you want to get mad at me telling people that. No, get mad at the prosperity preachers. They had called, just so y'all know, they're calling Ted Sherry a fake spiritualist, a fake Christian, all of this. But these big time millionaire preachers on TV, uh, they barely even mention the scripture. All they talk about is prosperity and how you can get money. Those guys aren't going to jail. But guess what, y'all? It's really crazy to speak on it. Some of them are. I just read about another preacher they got for sexual predator. He was messing with children. He wasn't a priest. He was a pastor of a church sect that many people said they didn't even know existed in that hometown. Some small town out there, y'all feel free to Google the details for yourself. But every time I turn around, it's another story about another preacher. First, I was like everybody else saying, oh, here they go, persecuting Christians. They're persecuting believers, finding creative ways to do it. That's what I thought at first. That still might be true, actually. But no, they found whole evidence of some of the stuff some of these preachers were doing. It's actually sad. And you still got the social butterflies out there that believe, no, um, spiritualists don't do that to children. Oh, you're just overthinking it. Those kids can go over there alone. Nobody's gonna be thinking of doing that to them. Like, really? But they call people like me green. A lot of abusers feel like they had to become an abuser or they were gonna become the victim. See, once you're victimized, some people's mentality goes straight to that. Right after they victimized, they decide in their hearts and mind, I will never be victimized again. And how do they change this? Well, this makes them feel better. They say, I'll never be victimized again. So I'm going to abuse people. It's called abuse people, abuse people. That's how that happens, y'all. Most time it's just a deep fear. Y'all know how I said we fear what we don't understand? Let me flex what I understand really quick. Most abusers have been victimized before. I'm not teaching nothing new, but why do we think they become abusers? The empath in me couldn't help but break it down. Cause even bad guys, I said it on a short already, I've always had a heart for them. Not what they do, but why they were like they are. I've always had just like this deep curiosity. What made the bad guy the bad guy? It started with me researching Lucifer himself, if people want to be honest. And I found out a lot about Lucifer when it came to the black family. Like his existence, the existence of fallen angels, all of it. And then you talk about the black family. Like he hates black women for a fact. They say, well, he's Lucifer. He hate people. That's his character. Like he hates. But it's worship. For those that worship that type of that are into, once again, I like my channel because if people want to learn stuff, they can over here. I'm not the type to go learn stuff, read books, research, get the information I get, because some of it did cost me things. Knowledge. He said my people perish due to lack of it, not because they were trying to get it. So anybody just been sitting around waiting on me to perish, good luck. We perish due to lack of knowledge. Nobody perishes and they had knowledge. I mean, unless they went just looking for it, doing stupid stuff. Yeah. See, you can have a form of knowledge. You can have a form of truth. You can have a piece of the truth. We're the ones who are telling the whole truth though. But like I said, they become that, and it's like me understanding that better for when I speak on fear and why I don't fear certain things like people do, or the things that they tell me to fear. Like I know what be careful means. I'm not crazy, so I'm as careful as I can be every day. But that's all I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna kill myself trying to barricade myself in the house and put on bulletproof vests every time I go outside. Even when Armageddon gets started, I'm not doing all that. When it's time for me to go, that's when I'm gonna go. Yeah, people try to put fear in your hair. You might want to, people are doing this and that, and you might want to know. I want to exhibit the protection of God over my life. Finally, for once in my life. I don't need no bulletproof vest. I ain't had a pistol now in a while. When I had one, I didn't have it long. Thank God I didn't have to use it on nobody. But most of my life, what I'm saying, I didn't have to. And this is coming from a person who also knows a little familiar with trauma. See, love, man, love. I don't care how much trauma you've been through. And most times, that's who they victimize. The ones with the most love in their heart. That's why I said I don't look at the bad guy the way the average person does. That's crazy. Most people that were victimized had a very bright heart once upon a time. I'm looking at what they trying to do to my kids now. I know the hearts they had are better. I'm the mother. I know my kids' heart today. I can tell when something's been compromised, whatever. But let me go back to what I was saying. Uh, when you take somebody really, really good heart like that, or some people would just call it innocent, but you do that, you victimize them type, then you start another cycle. So that's another example of weaponizing uh the black family. Have y'all ever seen American Gangster? That was another instance of the black family is the one who victimized themselves, in my opinion. You chose to get the whole family involved in your American Gangster scheme. But so sometimes I'm trying to get people to look at, the black on black crime, that's something people choose to do. But yeah, an officer do it, they go march. They go march and they protest. But how do we treat each other? They hate when I talk about this. I know they do. How do we treat each other? Before somebody else served the injustice, what are we doing to each other? Our own families, what are we doing to each other? Our own communities. Somebody is a part of that community. Even let me teach y'all something. Even if you don't like somebody in your community, it's too late. They already a part of it. So all you can do from there is hate them. Really. And it can be hidden for a while, but one thing about hate, it's just as loud as love. It really is. It ain't gonna be hidden for too long, and people will deem, well, we don't like that person in the community, we want them out. We don't like that person in the family, we want them out. We don't like them at school, and we sitting here wondering why suicide rates are increasing. People ain't even waiting on y'all to do it no more. They're doing it to themselves. And as I survive witnessing all of this happening, I just want to be one to speak the truth about what I see. If y'all might get more involved in the inner communities, when I say y'all now, I'm talking about those with the higher positions, you would see that the discord and the trading and turning and beating people, it's in the community. It starts at home. So of course, when you put an artist out there, look how they did. I'm gonna do, y'all stay tuned because I'm gonna do a topic on it. I'm gonna do a topic on how they just made Sexy Red look so cool. Literally, recently, they made Sexy Red look so cool to a whole community of young people. I'm almost through because I got to get this out. Everybody was singing her songs. They talking about Sexy Red, Sexy Red. Let me tell y'all, in the past 2 or 3 weeks, though, this same lady, now they bashing her. I'm telling y'all, in the media. They're bashing her. Rappers are coming out saying she gave them this and that. Just stupid. Now, let me remind y'all, she just succeeded. She just became a big time rapper. She just got her money up. And maybe she thought the whole hood had her back because Drake did a track with you and
You started getting collab deals with other. I see how deep it is. Okay, sis. So you came up a little bit because I'm not speaking on her. I'm speaking on her as a learning lesson. You came up a little bit. Now I don't know what she did. I don't know. I mean, I heard what they're saying she did. I'm looking at the timing though. I think she should as a black woman. Because when people were saying they didn't like the kind of music and entertainment that she was publishing out here, knowing that young people listen to the radio, she didn't want to hear that. And people defended it too. Like, well, we like Sexy Red. Just to let y'all know, three different men done came out now. They trying to get her for her money or something. I guess this is the new scam. Once the black woman succeeds, we're gonna come out with the dirt we have on her so we can take her money. Cause I'm seeing them do it to Sexy Red right now. Now all of a sudden, dudes want to come out talking about she burnt them. Y'all don't think that's a little weird? Not saying those dudes might be lying. They might be lying. Y'all know how they go. But it look what it did. I'm not gonna say did. I see what it's doing. It's doing something to her. That's crazy to her reputation, to her like, bro. Or maybe it's a put. Y'all know how they do those promotional marketing schemes. They start beef and stuff, to get more viewers or to get more listeners. I don't think this is one of those. This is true. Like people are really coming out saying they finna sue her over some STDs they supposedly got from her. But she got a whole line of lip gloss called very crazy stuff. Like the lip gloss flavors, for those of y'all that know, chapstick flavors, whatever it is, they all like sexually explicit names. And I'm not here to judge it. I'm just telling y'all what I see though. But suddenly 3, 4 guys come out Sexy Red. I just wonder what she got to say about this. And they want the whole world to know. Your fans, your family, they want the other rappers, they want everybody in the industry to know. I don't know if this is some humiliation thing she's going through, but as a black woman, I feel for her. I feel for you, sis. And she got a kid, to my understanding. These people don't care about you having kids. I'm telling y'all, you look at the title of this segment, and this is what it has come to. And I'm a great candidate for this topic, in my opinion. This is what it's come to. They waited till that girl got all the way. Sexy Red ain't been in the industry long, but they waited till she got successful enough. We know she got a little money. Okay. Now suddenly all these guys are coming out saying she gave them. Y'all sure that she wasn't one of y'all hoes? And then the product went bad. No offense, Sexy Red. They know what I mean when I say that. Maybe the pimps back in the day used to make sure the woman were a little more clean. I don't know, but I don't think they see how it looks. You can come out as a man and say she burnt you and all that, but hopefully there's no evidence she was a sex worker, because then that would make sense. Of course, you probably caught something somewhere. She just tried to make the best of the situation. Apparently, maybe she was more open about it. She mentions STDs in her music, not in a way like young ladies be careful. She actually was like, I don't know what the world coming to, but this is true. She more like praises it. She's like leading people to praise STD, and that's just not something I would ever do personally. I don't care how influential you are, you can never influence me to believe that STDs are cool. But just to let y'all know, this is the type of music they got out here to influence our kids. And then they want to turn around and say, well, why is your kid like that? So let's take it a little deeper. Uh, some just be like, well, you ain't got to let your kids listen to that specific artist. Baby, some of these artists like Cardi B and Offset recently, they had a whole McDonald's deal. They know kids eat there. What I'm saying is there's no hiding the music from your chip. Maybe we used to could do that when all we had was iTunes and what was the other app? I forgot, Pandora. Just so y'all know, some of us in my age range, that's what we had. before like YouTube music and all this other stuff. I mean, we always had the radio too, don't get me wrong, but we just had apps like that. That's how we access the music that we prefer, which they still exist. They still exist. But today it's just like the kids have way more access. You can't get on TikTok right now. You can't get on YouTube and Sexy Red ain't somewhere. What you mean hide that from your kids? Well, you might as well hide them from society. I'm so sick and tired of people ask, what are you allowing around the kids? Just know this, I'm at home most of my days. Prefer to work from it and everything from home. So what I listen to in my house, what I do in my house is they are my personal decisions in my opinion. I try to let my girls be them in my home. It's not nobody business, but I do. And it shows. They have a very open mind to a lot of things in life. They have their own thoughts and opinions to it. Well, somebody raised them to be that way. I'm just more trying to teach them at least have a little respect with how you come at people. See, I've been alive 33 years. I've given people enough respect. So mommy might be at another level with how she come at people. But you as kids, you do have to be taught right. You know what I'm saying? I got people watching me right now. Clearly didn't want the kids to be nothing because they trying to stop the mama life. I don't know what kind of ritualistic stuff, but I didn't sign up for it. And that's all God told me I need to know. Did you approve? Did you tell somebody this what you wanted to do for your riches? No, God, I don't remember that. I remember working hard for it, willing to put in the work for it. This is part one because there's no way I can talk about a topic like this in one setting. But thank you guys for tuning in to another segment with You Will Make It TV, where we believe faith attracts possibilities, but it's up to you what you do with those possibilities. The possibilities and what you do with them and how far you go with them is what ultimately tells the story. We want people to be inspired when they come to this channel in their life, in their lively duties, with their responsibilities, with taking more accountability. And that's what we're doing here. That's my new mission. As I open up a little more over time, like I said, if y'all been paying attention to the community tab, I am gonna start being more interactive with my viewers soon. Uh, Even for Christmas, I know this channel is brand new. I wanted to start a Christmas cookie contest, and I might not get to do that, but we might have a contest for New Year's, a raffle drawing, something like that going on. So y'all definitely hit that subscribe button and stay tuned. We're not just talking over here. We want to get back to doing what we do for communities and for the people. When I say we, yeah, I'm just talking about myself, me and God, perhaps, because you're not gonna always have a team of people that's trying to make your vision come into fruition, or trying to, how you gonna show a million people what God showed you? You just do what God told you to do. Noah couldn't explain to people what he was doing when he was building the ark. That's how I feel. Just know anything I've ever built and done always had a purpose for other people too. It's just who I am naturally. I guess that's the real impact in me. I ain't never started a business that didn't need help. When we go back and look at it, that's gonna be the truth. It was room for everybody. Anything I ever started. People just didn't like me. I guess they called themselves studying me in the energy of a boss and they didn't like it. Only people that want full control of you wouldn't like it. Maybe they want to tell you how you should do it, when you can do it, how much you can do it for. Let them do it for you. And sometimes your answer was no, and so you lost support. People didn't like you in the form of a boss. I'm talking about me personally. They just, now that I've accepted that it's okay. I don't have to change who I am. I don't believe so. I know trans walking around here right now had a whole sex change and people don't judge them. But I make a little change in my life. I'm talking about it's the news of the world every time. Oh, she drinks Folgers now. And they gonna talk about it. Well, she had white fingernail polish on yesterday. They gonna talk about it. Well, she got a mini Christmas tree this year. And it gets old just to kind of put y'all in my head a little bit. Now who gonna sit around and think about that every day? But I have accepted that. You know what I'm saying? People, it's just another narcissist tactic. But they better keep them narcissist tactics somewhere. Cause right now in Haiti, people are rebelling. They're rebelling. You know what I'm saying? Families are being broke up right now. They're at war. UK and Russia, they're at war. I have bigger things on my mind. Bigger things are really going on in the world than somebody not accepting my little bitty changes in life. It's really crazy. And those big things are still going to be going on in the world. They can throw 1,000 people in prison if they want to. It's still going to be criminals. You can throw 1,000 people in prison. I'm telling y'all today. And it's going to be 1,000 criminals still running around out here. Give God a little leeway, or continue to see how much you can do in your own strength and power today. This is just to challenge your beliefs, your thoughts, your integrity just a little bit. Like I said on a segment the other day, the energy of nosy is needed. What do y'all mean? Y'all probably never heard nobody say that. I think there's nothing wrong with being nosy. Do y'all know who I am? Oftentimes, I've never really had to be nosy. Can I explain? Can I just say that for a minute? A lot of information just fall in my lap if I slow down, pay attention. I just be watching. Or y'all like Teddy Sherry, you're growing up. That's how it's always been. Well, I'm here to confirm that is true. I've never really had to be like you just sit there. People gonna show you because they want attention anyway. They kind of low key be wanting you to know it's them. That's what I say. Bad guys are funny to me. Now that I understand them better, they really just be wanting attention. I said, what happened to the bad guys? Like, why nobody ever study the bad guys? You know what I'm saying? The bad guys, something happened to them when they were little. That's why they bad. And I know it. Um, but nobody ever talked to them about healing. And telling a person to go to church, y'all, and go to therapy are not the only two forms of healing Black communities. If the church and the therapy office were working, why is Black on Black crime percentages still at an all-time high? Black on Black crime means a Black person killed another Black person. A Black person set another Black person up. A Black person robbed another Black person. That has nothing to do with another culture. We get hungry and rob each other. Why don't y'all admit that? Don't try to go hiding and scattering like roaches now. Black people feel entitled to each other's shit. I don't know what it is about that. They just, well, I'm gonna eat her burger because she's Black. And what is she gonna do about it? And if she do want to fight, I'm a fighter. Like y'all do know this is how we look to other cultures. Instead of everybody getting a burger, one dad wants to sit over there and say only his baby deserves a burger, and the other dad should. They really think a mother finna live like that? Sit there and wait on a man to bring all the kids burger. Uh, Three different daddies to bring their kids burgers today, or do I just cook the burgers independently and make sure all my kids get one? Just so y'all hear from Arthur Teta Sherry herself. This is the real me. There are some mothers out there. Y'all feel free to leave your comments in the comment section, but I've never agreed with stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? This one man got on TikTok showing himself taking his son. This woman had 5 kids, but he only had one with her. He was like, "Well, I'm taking this nigga." He brought just his son something to eat. So yes, it went viral because some believed he did the right thing. Some believed he didn't owe her kids nothing else. Them other kids, she said, "Where the other kids' food?" And he told her right there on camera. He said, "See y'all, this what I be going through." Uh, I think somebody commented and said, "Well, at least take the kid. Don't let them sit there at the house." Like, what if the mama didn't have a car though? So the kid's supposed to go eat they McDonald's outside while the other one's sitting there and cry. I just want y'all to see from the eyes that God gave me how I can see people now. They are okay with sitting outside eating a burger knowing you hungry. And it's grown people that think like this. It's children that think like this. And then let me tell y'all, they tell themselves, well, I don't know, that person just gonna have to be jealous and cry. But if you leave them alone to jealous and cry, y'all, they ain't gonna even be able to handle it. You go give 1,000 people something and that person didn't get it. They gonna feel left out. So my question is, why do we wish weaponizing emotions against each other? Why? To you cults and Luciferians first, like you probably can tell me what you get out of it is some kind of energy harvesting ritual, but look how silly that looks. You out here teaching people only take care of their kids. They can help who they want to. Many of the homeless people I've given change or a dollar to, I didn't even know them. And y'all want to turn people's kids against each other in a house? I didn't have to know a lot of people. When I gave them a ride, when I gave them food, when I told them where they can go find some free food, I didn't have to know them. So we're gonna have more segments coming. Y'all stay tuned. Hit that like button, share, and subscribe. This is part one, weaponizing the Black family. Whose bright idea was this? With your very own Arthur Sherry Whitney. Stay tuned. Today's date marks 12/14/2024. Happy New Year. Happy holidays. Please subscribe before the new year. You won't want to miss new upcoming content and new ministry ideas I will be revealing soon. Okay. God didn't tell me to worry about the finances, the building, where I'm going to host everything, where I'm going to do it. All I know is every time I've had a vision or dream to do something, God will give me just enough I think He be just trying to see if I'm serious about that craft or business. God has definitely led me to the education and knowledge of how to start my own website, like business major here that y'all are talking to. Of course, I would be attacked in the area of business in my life. If I didn't have a business at all, what would they have to attack? I'm asking y'all. If I wasn't black at all, how could they use my race? If I wasn't a woman, how could they use that against me, right? All you gotta do, if you look at a person's life and see where they blessed, 9 times out of 10, they being attacked somewhere in that area, especially if it's God calling them to that area. Somebody told me, if you want to know where God gonna bless your life at, just look at where the devil has attacked. For whoever that might inspire today. You know you got a lip gloss business and suddenly just everything is going wrong with it. Get inspired. That might not mean people gonna tell you, well, baby, that mean it ain't for you. Yeah, witchcraft workers, because they can just cause something to happen to make you believe it. Okay? Y'all, I'm trying to inspire people to think for themselves like never before. None of us were born with two brains. Look how we got two ears, two eyes, and two everything else. God gave us all one brain. That brain don't need no help. You just gotta use it. You just gotta pray for clarity. You just gotta start sensing out what's going on around you. I'm telling you, it's simple. Thank you guys for tuning in. Till next time.